Hey guys, it's Nate. In this video, I want to go over my goals that I've set for myself in 2020, whether that be on YouTube, my business side of things, Instagram, whatever it may be. I want to kind of give off all of my goals that I have set for myself for this year. And then, of course, I will make an updated one going into next year as well for my goals next year. All right, since this is mainly going to be focused around my business side of things, we'll go ahead and start with that because that is the biggest thing on this channel. So a couple of the biggest things that I want to do is I want to keep growing my networking in my local area, basically get some more contacts and everything, because my local game has gotten a little bit stronger recently as far as making deals and selling things locally, which is a great way to cut costs and cut corners on certain things, especially if you're trying to sell in bulk and you know people to sell in bulk to. A lot of that has helped me sell lots of like 50 or like 30 plus items to people and actually get them all out of my inventory all at once, which is great because then I don't have to ship them myself, so they don't have to take up space in my inventory, and generally I can get them sold within the same week. Alongside with that, I kind of want to diversify myself as well. Going along those lines, I've been mainly focused on the like top items per se. Basically anything that's been really popular recently. I kind of want to focus on a little bit more. I want to get more focused on getting into clothing. I haven't done much with shoes, which is a huge industry, and I know that there's a lot of profit to be made with that. So I do want to get involved in that as well. I have a ton of small ideas in my head that can actually be pretty good money makers. I just haven't put them into action yet, and I want to kind of focus a little bit more on that the remainder of the year, kind of see if I can actually get things like that rolling instead of primarily focusing on the like popular items at the moment. Especially because a lot of those items are a lot harder to find now that a lot more people have gotten into reselling, considering the whole corona thing. Reselling has become a pretty popular thing to do, at least for an extra source of income, especially for those people that have lost their main source of income. That being said, I need to learn to diversify myself and not only focus on those items and also focus on some of the other things that can help make me money. One of the other things that I wanted to do is buy one of those wholesale lots, whether it be from Bulk or I don't really know any of the other websites off the top of my head, but I want to buy one of those and obviously see how it works out for me and see if that's something that maybe I could do for myself in the future, or if it's something that maybe any of you guys should look into doing. It always has interested me watching those people online that open up the boxes of random like Amazon returns and stuff like that. I would be focused a little bit differently than that, but sometimes there's a lot of money to be made, other times not so much. But I think as long as you do your research beforehand, it can go pretty good for you. So that is something I want to do this year, at least try that out, see how it works out for me. Maybe it won't be my thing, maybe it will. That's kind of one of the bigger things that I wanted to do this year. And then I want to create a couple sites. So I have dabbled in making my own sites with Shopify. I have 2 sites that are currently being worked on right now. They've been being worked on for quite a bit of time. They've been put on the back burner a little bit recently just because of everything that I've had going on. I've had to focus a little bit less on those and focus more on some other things. So that being said, I want to start my own dropshipping site. I've watched a ton of videos on dropshipping, and it's something that really interests me and intrigues me, how people can make money without doing any of the like back-end stuff, besides actually ordering the item and getting it shipped there. So I did want to try that out and see how well it works for me, whether it's just to try it or if it's like an actual thing that I can keep going. Who knows at this time, but it is something that I've wanted to try for a while, and I think it could be something that works out pretty well, depending on, you know, if my knowledge is good enough to pick out the right products, ad placement, everything like that. That is another thing that I could show in a future video too, my first time attempting dropshipping, you know, and then maybe have a little series tangent off of that. If so, great, because it is something that I think is pretty cool that you don't have to do any of the like warehouse work to it, where you actually ship it and do all the fulfillment processes. Another thing is, I've had a clothing brand for the last year and a half. We haven't done a whole lot with it. It's me and a partner. It's a partnership that I have. It is something that I've wanted to get a little bit more into. We were going to originally do screen printing, but we kind of sucked at that. So there's a few other things that I wanted to try to do to help us get better at that, because I still really want to own my own clothing brand. I think it'll be really cool to have your own brand that can be showcased. That's something going off of the lines of creating a legacy. That's something that, you know, all humans have a desire for, or at least most of them, that they want to be known for something. So I think branding yourself or creating a brand is a big part of that for me. I've always wanted to create a legacy for myself or make sure that I'm known. So that's something that I think creating your own clothing brand, that's why it's such a big deal to me. So I do want to focus a little bit more on that this year, create my own website for it, and actually start getting some sales going, not just create the shirts and wear them around the house, because that's basically what we did in the past. Hopefully we grow that a little bit. And as mentioned in my previous video, I am a card collector. I've been collecting football cards for about 11 years. I stopped for a little bit in between, but I do want to create my own card website as well, where I sell single cards, card breaks, card boxes, whatever it may be. I kind of want to get that started as well, where I have basically my own online card shop, just because it is something that I really love. I do love collecting cards. It is one of my favorite things. It's one of my biggest hobbies, especially right now. I've been buying way too many cards. But that being said, I think it is a huge investment. So that is something that I want to start as well, just because I think it's an extra source of income that could be pretty big, especially in the future, considering the way things are going. And now, as far as business goes, going on to the more important marks for me to reach. These goals aren't going to be huge for this year, but they are something that I want to hit. I will preface it with saying that I didn't really fully start heavily going into this until about the third or fourth month into the year. So those few months that I had before that, I had maybe had $400 to $500 of sales a month, just because it was on my off time. I'd go to Target or Walmart, go to clearance sections, things like that, pick up some items, maybe go to thrift stores and find some good deals and ship them out to Amazon and then get some money for it. But then once I started focusing more on it, I started growing a little bit more and getting a little bit better at what I did. So that's why my numbers may seem a little bit lower, considering the fact that this is my full-time job now, that I have no other source of income coming in from anywhere else. So one of those goals is I want to have $100,000 in sales this year. Right now I have somewhere between 40 and 50,000. If it's closer to the 50,000 mark, I would be pretty on track to reach that goal. If it's closer to the 40,000, I'm a little bit behind schedule. But either way, I think it's something that I can hit. It may be one of my harder goals to reach, especially because I did throw away the first 3 months of the year. But I do still think that is something that is completely possible for me to achieve. And I like setting my goals a little bit higher, but also very possible to achieve. So $100,000 in sales, I think, is a decent number for me to aim at. And then on top of the sales that I'm getting, the sales don't really matter if you're not getting the profit behind it that you need, obviously. So I'm trying to shoot for around 40% profit on everything that I sell. To this point, I should be sitting somewhere around 40%, because I've had a few items ship out where it's even multiples of items where I am getting over 100% profit on it, but I also have other items where I'm only getting 20% profit. A lot of those are higher sale cost items, but you're still taking a bigger hit on the percentage wise of that. But if I do hit 40% and $100,000, of course, that will give me $40,000 on the year, which is exactly what I want to aim for my first year, because my previous job, I was only making about $30,000 to $40,000 a year, being basically a phone salesperson. That being said, if I get $40,000 this year, I will completely supplement my income doing reselling under my own business name instead of doing it for someone else. I'm making all the money myself. I don't have to listen to other people. I am my own boss at that point, which is something that I've strived for ever since I've been in the workforce, which isn't too long, but it's still something that I've strived for. All right, that was most of it, but I will give my other goals, because I do have a lot of goals pertaining to different areas. The other thing I've been focusing on a lot recently is Instagram. I have 5 Instagram accounts that I've been monitoring recently. Put a few on the back burner, but my main ones, Daily Arbitrage, Sport Collectibles, and Raging Renegade. Those are the 3 pages that I've been really focusing on recently. Daily Arbitrage is my main reselling account, so everything that I have going on here, a lot of it's also going to be going on my Instagram account, as far as letting you guys know when I upload, or certain items that I pick up, things like that. If you're really interested in seeing some of the extra stuff behind the scenes, I would go follow that Instagram. It's just Daily Arbitrage on Instagram. It's also going to be linked in the bio. My Sport Collectibles page, obviously, is for my sport card collection. That's where I host a few breaks. I'm starting to get into hosting breaks, at least. And then, of course, my Raging Renegade account is for my gaming channel, or what I do as far as gaming goes on this channel. So if you guys are a part of that, go check any of those pages out. As far as the goals go for those, I want to hit 2,500 followers on my Daily Arbitrage account before the end of the year, 1,000 on Sport Collectibles, and 1,000 on Raging Renegade. Right now, they're all my daily arbitrage is almost at 900. Sport collectibles is 250, I want to say, and Raging Renegade is about 200. That's pretty much it as far as the Instagram side of things go. I've been doing pretty good at keeping on top of things. I do want to try to get a few more daily posts out because I do go a couple days occasionally without posting anything, which isn't great. I do want to try to make it a little bit more consistent. But moving on from that, the next thing, YouTube. Here on YouTube, I want to at least get to 500 subscribers before the end of the year. I think that 500 is a good goal for me. I've never really been above like 50 subscribers, so 500 is a stretch, but I'm also going to focus a lot more on YouTube just because I have the time, and I also think that I have some, like I've said previously, I have some information that I think is useful to share. And next, onto my Twitch account. I'm sitting at about 190 followers. I stream 3 or 4 days a week, or I will be starting to stream 3 or 4 days a week. That is another thing that I've been focusing on a lot recently. I'm going to try to get 1,000 followers on Twitch, which may be my hardest goal that I've set for myself, because my growth on that isn't too crazy. I get a few followers a night maybe when I stream, and I want to get a few subs for myself before the end of the year. I've gotten maybe 7 in the past. I want to try to push that up to maybe 25. Again, another stretch, but I think it's something that if I try hard enough, it might be possible. Alrighty, and then lastly, moving on to my fitness goals, which is something I've definitely struggled with the last year or so. I want to get myself down to 195 pounds by the end of the year. Right now I'm sitting probably between 220 and 230, which is closer to the high end of what I've ever been. I've just gotten pretty lazy as far as doing workouts and everything, especially with the gyms closing, which isn't a good excuse, but it is something that I have failed at. So I want to try to get myself in better shape. I have no idea what my body fat percentage is, and I know it's generally pretty inaccurate to get that measured, but I still want to try to focus on getting my body fat percentage around 12%. I'm assuming I'm at around 15 to 16 right now, maybe a little bit higher even, which isn't good, because I have had it lower than 13 before. But I really want to focus more on doing that. And then another big thing that's pretty vague that I want to focus on is eating healthy. I have not been eating healthy at all recently, so it is something that I want to get better at. And I know it might be really hard for me because I do eat out a lot, which, being someone that's really interested in money and investing, I know that it's not a good thing to eat out, but sometimes, or especially recently, I've just been a little bit too unmotivated to actually focus on saving money with food, which is extremely poor decision making, but it is something that, again, it's a goal I want to get better at. I want to cut my spending down on eating out as much as possible. Maybe even if it's like not eating it out at all, or if it's maybe once in a great while with a friend or something, or for like a business meeting or something like that, I think it'd be okay. But I kind of want to cut that down as much as possible. And then as far as savings goes, I want to save $1,000 in a savings account and $1,000 in basically my stock account. The reason those aren't higher is I will be reinvesting a lot of my money back into my business as far as this next year goes. Until I start to get a large amount of money coming back from my business, I can't really focus a whole lot on saving my money. I do have about $1,500 to $2,000 saved in a 401k right now, another $1,000 in stocks, and then maybe $500-600 in my external savings account. I do want to grow those a little bit, but like I said, I want to focus more on my business and growing my business because I think that is the best thing to do for me right now since I am so small. All right, so those are my biggest goals of 2020. If you have any goals that you're trying to reach, follow me along with my journey. Leave a comment down there saying what your goals are, and let me know how I did on this video. If you have any feedback for me, if I did anything wrong, if you want to see something different, if you have ideas for me, anything like that, just throw them down in the description. I appreciate all feedback. Go ahead and give the video a like or dislike depending on how you felt about it, and give me a subscribe if you're new here. I appreciate it, and have a great day.